must echo what was said, right? Very inspiring, and I must commend you for this, right? I have 3 questions. First is, what percentage of your workloads today are in your own data center versus running in the public clouds? That's first. Second one.
We'll do one at a time.
One at a time.
Very short minutes.
Don't forget, we're managers now.
I want to make sure I remember my questions.
So, question number 1.
Yeah, I'll remember 1, you remember 1, and he'll remember 1.
Okay, I'll take number 1. You want number 2. Okay, we're looking at about 20% right now.
In the cloud?
20% of our workloads are in the cloud.
I'd say it's probably inched up a little bit more than that now. It's between under 25%. Yeah.
Second question is, can you walk through the journey in terms of, you said, right, you're all cloud native, you're all containers. Did you have to refactor your applications, or is it born in the cloud applications? How did you go through that?
Yeah, that was, first of all, that was a very contentious conversation 5 years ago. Everybody wanted to lift and shift. And what we realized early is you can do a lift and shift, folks. You really can, and you will get benefits, okay? But you never really unlock the cloud until you rethink how to build your applications. And you get to API first, you get to cloud native, and you actually start thinking about breaking it up into pieces. And that's where the magic really starts happening. So we just literally, we made it a rule. Okay? If you want to come to the cloud, and it slowed us down tremendously 5 years. If you want to come to the cloud, you will rewrite your application in cloud native based on the 12 factors that we've allocated to what a cloud native solution is. And if you want, don't stay on-prem. Now, that's kind of a carrot and a stick. So back then we had a cloud governance board. And so we had a lot of detractors. So everybody looked at this as, yeah, nobody will go to the cloud because the bar is so high, right? But when you have to wait 3 to 6 months to get something done, you start rethinking, well, what if I go rebuild this website in the cloud? It's an easy website. Let's just go put it in the cloud. I can get it done a hell of a lot faster. So you start seeing that behavioral change. And that's why I kind of drilled in on the cultural stuff a little bit. Really, the behavioral change and the decision-making that we have to have at the lowest levels, that's the real problem of getting to the cloud. From my point of view, the technology is all learnable. We have smart people. I'm sure all you guys have smart people in your organizations. They will learn the tech. And force them to rethink about how to do the tech.
To clarify too, it's not all containers and serverless. There is plenty of IaaS still there, but there's no lift and shift. And it's not that, like, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution for all the companies. But for T-Mobile, for example, we are a telecommunications company. We have network infrastructure. We're not going to be closing a data center anytime soon. And so they're sticking around, and there's models that make sense for folks to stay there. And as we said in the beginning, for us, the reason to go to cloud is to unlock that agility. And so we're really just kind of preventing ourselves from shooting ourselves in the foot by allowing those kinds of solutions in.
Good, thank you. So, and the final question is, I think you kind of said, right, there is no one size that fits all. Same goes for clouds, right? We all love AWS, but AWS doesn't solve all the problems. What's your perspective on multi-cloud?
Do you want me to take that?
Am I allowed to answer that question here?
AWS guy's going to tackle us?
Okay, I don't want to get thrown off stage. We are multi-cloud. Okay, so we consider pivotal in our data centers a cloud. We do some work with Azure, and we do most of our work with AWS. It is really interesting when you start looking at it. We have a website which is nothing more than a decision matrix of when to use which cloud, right? At the end of the day, you get a lot of personal preference. People say, oh, I want to go to Azure. Why? Why would you want half your data over here and 10% of your data over here and 90% of it over here on AWS? You know, so there's architectural reasons to stay closer to single cloud. And let's face it, it's somewhat of a mitigation. You don't want to overcommit to one or the other. You know, that's gone through our heads and we've talked about it. But we are multi-cloud, but we are, I can't give you the ratio, but we are massively slanted toward AWS, to be honest. I mean, Nick said 200,000 instances in 10 months. That is really, really big. It's a lot to manage.
Yeah, I think we can share a little more color, which is we are, first of all, I mean, it's not even just BS to say that we are big fans of Amazon's customer service. They've been great partners with us. when we have big releases like iPhone releases, which you see some very interesting scale happen quickly, they're in the room with us, and they've always been there. To that, the technology stacks can be different, and there's complementary. There's pieces that we prefer on one or the other. As Steve said, the majority of our infrastructure today is in AWS, but there's a couple big workloads that are on the Azure side. And we're always looking at other options as well. So it's important to us, I think, just number one, to stay plugged in on the latest technology. We like there to be healthy competition on the cloud. And then this is another part of our thinking about the open source work that we're doing too. So I won't make any bones about it, like full transparency. All of these open source products that we have out there today are beautiful 100% AWS native architectures. They use all sorts of, every service you can imagine on those charts. And we're fans of them. But our roadmaps for all of them is the ability to integrate and to help us leverage those operational capabilities multi-cloud. So for example, on the Packbot side, I'm really excited. We've been speaking with some other companies that we stay in contact with to find that company that's like the mirror of us in terms of percentages of infrastructure on Azure. Because if they're wanting to focus mostly on Azure compliance rules like we do today on AWS, because it's our low-hanging fruit, we can share each other's work by contributing to the open source. On the roadmap for Jazz is the ability to deploy all of these services, not just in AWS and Azure, but we've done POCs on Google, and we fully intend to support this in the data center too.